What's up, my friends? It is Danny Gallows, of course. Who'd you think it was? Happy July, and welcome back to another music theory video. So guys, for today's video, I wanted to talk about musical inspiration again. And I've talked a lot about different artists and musicians who've personally inspired me, but the one thing that I haven't talked about is non-musicians and non-artists who've inspired me. So today I want to talk to you guys about Bob Ross. Now, if you guys didn't know already, Bob Ross actually has his own YouTube channel. Obviously, it's not him, of course, but the person who's running it has a live stream every single weekend. And I watch that for aesthetic purposes. But while he was teaching other people how to paint, he was teaching me how to make music. So today, I wanted to share with all of you guys 3 things that Bob Ross taught me about making music. So the first one is, make everything the same but different. You see, in the past, I would always experiment with different genres of music, all different genres of music, and I used to pride myself on that. And then, realistically, I still do because that's my background. But the problem with experimenting with all different genres of music is that no one can really identify you with anything, right? But when I used to watch Bob Ross paint, when I still watch him paint, really, he would always do everything the same. His mountains look the same, his trees look the same, his skies are painted the same way, he does the cabins, he does the landscapes, he does the reflections in the water, and I noticed something watching these videos, was that even though he was doing everything the same, all of his paintings were drastically different. And what that taught me was to move away from doing everything completely different, right? While I was trying to move on to new genres all the time, what I should have been doing is developing my own unique sound and then recreating that. That's exactly what Bob Ross does in his paintings, and you can also apply that to music. The second thing that Bob Ross taught me was layering, right? You look at a Bob Ross painting, you see the sky is the very first layer, then he comes in and he does the mountains, then he comes in and he does that first layer of trees and bushes, adds a piece of land, adds a lake, adds a snowfall, whatever, and then he would go back and he would layer everything. He layers in the clouds, he layers in the snow down the mountains, he taps in all the little leaves and branches on the trees. He does the same thing with the land, he makes the reflections in the lake, right? It's all about layering. And when I would watch him do this, I thought, that's a really interesting way to think about music production and composing music, right? Layering. Instead of just doing one simple lazy beat and maybe like 1 or 2 samples over it and making this like very kind of drone repetitive rhythm, well, what if you were to layer things, right? Instead of just a couple of samples, why not, 5 or 6 different samples? I mean, you can see by the song behind me, right? You see how complex and tightly packed in the samples are, right? Right, that's what Bob Ross taught me. It's all about layering. You take all these empty gaps in your line there. You see all those empty gaps there and you fill them in. You fill all the lines in, you jam-pack the samples as tight as you can, and you make it really, really complicated almost and complex, like a giant puzzle that you're trying to fit together. And then all of those layers come together as one and make this really, really brilliant song, right? Even with the drum beat, right? I learned to do the same thing with the drum beat. Don't just take one beat and put it on there and that's your beat, right? Chop it up and reposition it. Layer the beats. Layer one beat over the next. Make it more complex than it has to be. And then you wind up with a really, really beautiful song. And finally, the third thing that he taught me, which is arguably the most important aspect, is do your own thing, right? How many times during a Bob Ross painting session did you hear him say, this is your painting. Put the mountain where you want. Here, I'm going to add these little trees in here. I'm going to add these happy little clouds in here. But you don't have to add them there. Add them where you want. This is your painting. This is your world. Do your own thing, right? And I always loved that personal lesson that he was trying to teach us, right? Just do your own thing. You can learn from me. You can learn all these tactics and skills. You can learn all of these different tools that I'm using to make this painting. But do your own thing. Make your own world. A big problem with today's music is that a lot of artists just don't do that, right? They take what has been done before and they copy that. And while it may sound really good, well, you didn't do anything new, right? The whole thing about music is being imaginative and being creative. The key is to do your own thing. This is your painting. This is your world. You do whatever you want in here. It doesn't matter if it's popular. It doesn't matter if it's, not going to get you a lot of likes on Instagram or something like that. And I should know because I don't get a lot of likes and I don't get a lot of activity on my channel either, right? And that's because I'm doing something brand new. But again, I appreciate that because this is my own world. Bob Ross taught me, to do your own thing, right? And a lot of musicians today, they get caught up in just repeating, and repeating. And I don't want to do that. I've always wanted to make my own sound and develop my own unique abilities with making music to kind of create a brand new genre of music. And I think that I've done that. And I'm really, really proud of it. Well guys, that's my logic anyway, or should I say that's Bob Ross's logic anyway, on how I personally make music, my own personal music production. But now comes the best part of the video where I turn it over to all of you. So do you guys have similar notions to me? Do you guys produce music in the same way? Leave all your thoughts and opinions down below in the great white void, and I'll see you guys back here for the next musical theory video very soon. Peace.